Merry meet everyone and welcome back to My Pagan Life as always. You've asked for it guys, so here it is. Let's get started with this video. Just a tiny warning or disclaimer before we start, guys. This topic is a very popular witchy topic on YouTube. Point is, if this video comes across as plain or repetitive, especially if you've watched videos on this topic prior to this one, I sincerely apologize. Truth is, you see, making blessing water or moon water is very simple. The concept is very basic, and the rest is pretty much just correspondences and timing. But before we get into all of that, let's talk about what moon and blessing water is. Blessing water, and this is my way of looking at it, just so you know, is water that has been blessed, and that is blessed with the intention of blessing something. Or someone, for that matter. Blessing water can be used to bless and or purify anything. That's the point. Or that's at least the point I'm trying to make here. Moon water, however, is, at least in my humble opinion, pretty much the same as blessing water, but with one defining trait. Instead of simply being blessed, it is either blessed or charged by the moon, or more specifically, the energy of the moon. If the moon is not involved in the process of preparing the water, it is not moon water. Now, can moon water be used as general blessing water can be used? Of course it can, but moon water, at least for me, usually has a more specific purpose than simple blessing water does. That said, how do we make this blessing and or moon water? I'm going to show you the basic process of making blessing water, and how to go about making it moon water if that's something you'd rather make. Once again, I'd like to note that most of the information I'm giving you is based on my experience, so if you have opinions or other experiences on the subject, make sure to tell me down in the comments below. In order to make blessing water, you obviously need water and a container. A lot of people are going to recommend using a glass container for making blessing and or moon water, and I totally agree. Given that you maintain your glass containers, glass is pretty much the cleanest and most see-through material you'll be able to use as a container, so yeah. But before I pour any water into this container, I just want to bring a little bit of attention to this crystal. This stone is a moonstone. And why do I have a moonstone with me here today? Well, it's because adding crystals or, stones and herbs and things like that can enhance your blessing and or moon water. You can definitely make both blessing water and moon water without using anything but water, but if you do want to add things like crystals and herbs and maybe symbols and other things, then that's totally fine. In fact, when I make blessing water, I don't usually use anything. If I make moon water, I might actually use a crystal. So in the instance of making pure blessing water, I would simply pour water into a container. I'd say a prayer, a blessing, or something of the like, and I'd basically be finished with the blessing water. But since I want to turn this into moon water, I'm going to give it that little extra oomph to kind of, make it moon water. Again, you don't need to add a crystal in order to make it moon water, it's just my preference. And the reason why I've chosen moonstone specifically should be pretty obvious. It is a stone that is associated with the moon. The way we'll go about adding the crystal to the water is by actually adding the crystal before we go on to add the water. Actually, this moonstone does not go into the container, but don't worry, I have another moonstone that will. This was the one I was trying to use. This is the one I'm going to use, so yeah. There you go. Now that we've added the stone to the container, we can go on to add the water. Yep, that's probably enough. So now you have a glass container that has water in it, and a crystal of your choosing. Close it, and there you go. Yes, it truly is that simple. At this point, I think it's fair to ask questions about correspondences and details and stuff. The water can literally be from anywhere. My only requirement for the moon and or blessing water is that it's clean. In this instance, I am adding a crystal because I'm making moon water. My reason for doing this is that blessing water is just blessing water. You can bless it through your intention, you can bless it through your words, and that's really all there is to it. But if you're trying to drag down the moon or trying to add moon energy to your water, then I think it only makes sense to use tools or things that one would assume would attract that energy. The easiest, most basic way of making moon water is by taking the water and exposing it to the moon, exposing it to the moonlight. But if you want to go a step further, adding a crystal can kind of help you drag out that energy even more. But what other stones can you use except moonstone? Well, you can use quartz stones in general, you can use obsidian, and a number of other stones. There are many stones and crystals that are associated with the moon, but one important thing to note here is that not all stones can be used in water. Selenite, for example, is a great example of a stone that is often associated with the moon and is probably great to use in moon spells and moon magic, but whatever you do, don't leave it in water. You can probably expose it to water to some extent, but you can't leave it in water. That would be not so smart. That said, it doesn't mean you can't use selenite for this purpose. You just can't keep it inside the container. As for herbs you can use for blessing in moon water, you have everything from jasmine to almond, rose, lotus, frankincense, sage, thyme, lavender. There are many different herbs you can use. Also, if you're going to add herbs to blessing water and or moon water, I would suggest you do so after the water has been charged and or blessed. It just makes the water fresher. And you don't have to use the herbs to directly like infuse the water, but you can kind of add them just to have added them and to add that extra energy, and then you can remove them right away. Bottom line for all this though is that it's all up to you and you can do it however you want. Now, what to do from here, I wonder? If you're making moon water, you are probably gonna want to put this to charge in the moonlight. What this means is that you should probably bring the container outside, or you should set it beside a window. The most important thing is that you expose the water to the moon and the moonlight. Duration doesn't really matter as long as you expose the water to the things you want to expose it to. Like if you're making moon water, you probably don't want to expose the water to sun energy. So it's a good idea to take the water away from the window or bring the water back inside when the sun comes out, because if you expose it to the sun and let it charge and be blessed by the sun, it's not moon water. You can keep this water or container nearby when you're doing spells. You can open the container and physically use the water. If that's what you want to do. You can add it to objects, you can add it to your skin to, you know, purify your skin. Oops. You can basically use it however you want. And so that basically concludes my basic guide on blessing and moon water. I can't think of anything else to touch on in this video, but if you do have additional questions to this topic, make sure to leave them down in the comments below and I will definitely come back to you. If you happen to like this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, share, and subscribe for more videos every week on Wicca, paganism, and witchcraft. That said, everyone, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope to see you in my next video, and until then, guys, blessed be from my pagan life.